Hey, this is bad patrol type people.
Chicos, Hey guys, DJ here from Guitar Masterclass. Today's lesson is going to be on arpeggios and sweep picking via request of Patrick Bloomer. It's going to be a fairly long video, I realise, as I started recording and realised there's quite a bit more to it, quite a bit to explain. So I'll go through a few things with you. For example, sweep picking isn't actually what we're doing. Sweep picking just refers to the motions of pick. The notes we're actually using are arpeggios, which is arpeggio means chords in single note form. So basically any chord that you play, you can arpeggiate it and use sweep picking to do so. A few other things like thirds and fifths.
Audio quality.
Yeah, it's good audio quality. Thirds and fifths are the main goer, but it does sound pretty cool when you do add in the extra 7 and 8th intervals and that sort of stuff. It makes some really interesting sounds. So yeah. Basically, I'm just going to start off with some triad and quad chords. Make it a lot easier if you know your modes and that sort of stuff. I'll go through them a bit fast so you can see what they sound like at first, and then I'll run through them a bit slower and see how we go. Just before we start, we'll go through some technique things. Basically, you want to be holding your pick sort of, however's comfortable for you, but not too hard. You don't want to be sort of holding it sort of fairly loosely, so it doesn't get caught, otherwise it'll sound really crap, basically. Here's a few, I'll run through them. Okay, I'll go through a bit slower, and then I'll explain what they are basically afterwards. So it's going to be like this. So basically, the first one there, we've got it's a major third pattern. Second one. So they're all based off thirds and fifths, basically. That's the first one. Alrighty. So the second part here will be on a bit. Adding another string there. First one was just 3 strings, just to get you started with the technique. It's best off practicing them fairly slowly. What you want to do is go down on the first 2, stroke the last one, then let it hammer on, pull off, and then stroke up 2 on the last 2. So sort of like this. So forth. 4 strings now. Getting on, we'll add a few slides in there as well, so you can get a couple extra intervals in there. So it's going to sound like this. And basically, slow them down, pretty similar to the first ones. End up looking like this. Awesome. Gonna go through, I guess, a couple of linking things you can do to link them together and get a bit broader sound, I suppose, if you want to link them together for solos and that sort of thing. basically, easiest way to do it is to find the octave and work from there. So we'll go back from those first ones we were doing. Sort of like that. If you want to see that again slowly. Okay. If you want to do something similar, you know, as you're moving up, it's pretty much the same process. Like that. That one there slowed down. The difference between the two is the first one's major and the second one's predominantly minor. I'll go again though. I just realised you probably can't see my picking hand very good at that. But basically the action that you want to be getting is to follow through, and then at the bottom, hammer on, hammer off, whatever you want to do at the top, and then bring it back up. And you sort of want to be, as you come back up, sort of tilt your hand as well, because otherwise your pick's going to get caught. If you've got too much attack in there, it's going to be very, well, it's going to sound like this basically. And that doesn't sound good at all. So yeah, basically just practice, practice. Repetition is the key. There's a lot of things you can do with it. These are very simple shapes. Later on I might do an advanced video and show a few other things you can do with it, adding tapping at the end. You know, there's pretty simple things. I'll just do one more, I suppose, technique-based demo, and then a couple more shapes that you can work with. So basically, when you're practicing, you want to make sure that you're keeping in time, and you're not just, you know, trying to do it quick to impress anybody or anything like that. You know, keep it flowing and keep it going, and you'll be all right. And basically, you just sort of follow through with it. Here's some cool things I like to do, adding like little, what people usually do is tap the extra note, but there's a couple different ways you can do it. You can, you know, sort of hybrid pick the note at the top. So I'll show you those ones. That one fast. That's basically it. Everybody seems to love diminished shapes that's into metal, so I'm going to add in a few in there that sort of change it up a bit, not just keeping it in groups of 3s, 4s, 6 or whatever, you know, make it a bit interesting. Some 5/16 there, you know. Alrighty, basically, it's going to sound like this, running from the top. I'll go through that slow now. I didn't play it very well, but you get the idea. So basically, just the basic diminished patterns, just minor thirds. 5/16, so we're doing 5 of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And the idea is basically it reverses your picking each time, so you've got to really think about where you're starting and finishing, and it really helps with your practice. You actually practice that one properly, try and get it in time. It'll really help with your technique. Yes, so that's that one. Basically, I don't really use them that often, but mainly just because the sort of generic and people overlook them and use them for the wrong things, I think anyway. But there are a lot of interesting things you can do with it. Well, for example, when I first started out, I found the easiest way was just to go through the modes and figure out the shapes for yourself. So like I'll give you an example, basically like that first ones that we were doing. And then obviously you'd go through the next one. And work up and down a mode as well, instead of going across, you know. So yeah, I've gone over a few things. For those of you that are a bit more advanced and probably do sweeps more than I do, then yeah, there's a lot more that you can do with them, and if you put a lot of practice into it, they can sound pretty cool depending on what you do, what you decide to link together. Like just off the top of my head, something might be something like this. You know, there's plenty you can do. Hope you liked the video. Check out some more. Guitar Masterclass, bitches!